France, 1789. The old world is collapsing. The people have risen up against a monarchy that failed them. The cry of liberty, equality, fraternity echoes through the streets. But as the revolution unfolds, chaos and violence take hold. The reign of terror claims thousands. The nation is searching for a new identity, one rooted in nationalism, in the idea that every French citizen is part of something greater than themselves. The birth of French nationalism. The French Revolution was more than political upheaval. It was a social and cultural revolution. Inspired by Enlightenment ideals and the success of the American Revolution, the French people sought self-determination. The Third Estate, representing the vast majority, demanded a voice. Their rallying cry: liberty, equality, fraternity. But as the revolution progressed, divisions deepened. The National Assembly's vision of national sovereignty and legislative supremacy re-established a kind of absolutism, this time in the name of the people. Nationalism became the glue that held the revolution together. The people began to identify as French first, not as subject of a king. This new sense of pride and unity inspired radical change, but also opened the door to manipulation by ambitious leaders. The Directory and the power vacuum. After the fall of Robespierre and the Jacobins, France was governed by the Directory, but this government was weak, corrupt, and unpopular. Political infighting and economic hardship left the people disillusioned. The revolution's promise of liberty and democracy seemed out of reach. The country was on the brink of collapse. In this chaos, the people longed for stability. They were willing to support any leader who could restore order. The stage was set for a new kind of savior, one who could harness the power of nationalism for his own ends. Napoleon's rise. Enter Napoleon Bonaparte, a brilliant military commander. He rose to fame through his victories in Italy and his daring campaigns. Though his Egyptian campaign was a mixed success, he returned to France as a hero. The Directory, desperate for support, turned to him as the man on horseback who could guarantee the loyalty of the army. In November 1799, Napoleon, with the help of allies like Size, staged the coup of 18 Brumaire. He promised to end the chaos and restore France's greatness. The people, exhausted by years of upheaval, welcomed him with open arms. The Constitution of the year 8 granted Napoleon almost dictatorial powers, and the Republic became a dictatorship in all but name. Manipulating nationalism. Napoleon understood the power of nationalism. He knew that to control France, he had control its heart. He embraced the revolutionary ideals of equality and merit, abolishing feudal privileges, and creating a centralized, efficient state. He rationalized French law, ensuring uniformity across the country. But he also suppressed political opposition, ended the electoral process, and centralized power in his own hands. He used nationalism to inspire loyalty and justify his wars. French soldiers marched not just for their general, but for France itself. Nationalism became a tool for control. Pride in the nation was channeled into support for Napoleon's regime. Napoleon's propaganda machine worked tirelessly to portray him as the embodiment of the nation. He was not just a leader, but a symbol of French greatness. The empire and the cost of control. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French. He promised to fulfill the revolution's promise, but in reality, he betrayed its democratic spirit. The people cheered as French armies conquered Europe, but at a terrible cost. Thousands died in wars waged in the name of national glory. Napoleon's regime was authoritarian. He tolerated no opposition and crushed dissent. Nationalism, once a force for freedom, now served a dictator. The revolution's ideals of liberty and democracy were sacrificed for order and imperial ambition, legacy and reflection. Napoleon's empire eventually collapsed, but his manipulation of nationalism left a lasting mark. He showed how a leader could use national pride to unite and control a people. The French Revolution had unleashed the power of nationalism, and Napoleon harnessed it, bending it to his will. Was Napoleon a hero or a tyrant, a savior of the revolution or its betrayer? The answer lies in the power of nationalism and how one man learned to wield it. The power of nationalism. The story of Napoleon and the French Revolution reminds us that nationalism is a double-edged sword. It can inspire greatness and unity, but it can also be manipulated to justify control and conquest. In the end, the legacy of Napoleon is a lesson in the power and the danger of national pride. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history.